Hello, friends and everybody else. Thank you so much for being here. And today I'm coming at you with a new vlog. It's a redo vlog. I'm doing this vlog to replace the previous one just before this because I can and I want to. And also, I'm OCD. And I'm sitting here like this because it's so comfortable, and also because I just want you to see my new leopard PJs. Um, I've been living in PJs for the last few days because I'm a little lost. I'm having bouts of anxiety, and so this vlog is the real me vlog. Yes, in my other vlogs, I'm always very real and maybe sometimes too real, but you know what? I've discovered that it's okay. I'm doing this because I would like to inspire and help others who are also going through the same thing or even something similar, where you're having difficulties, with um, distress, anxiety, um, just all kinds of emotional and psychological problems that tend to really catch up with you and affect you if you, like me, have had a very adverse past and history. So, in doing that, I just want to say that, you know, there are moments in my life that become so real, and I feel like, oh gosh, I mean, how do I make it to the next few hours? I have times where I'm really irritable. I'm I'm angry. I'm up. I'm down, but I never give up. I never give up because I know that there's always a better after tomorrow. And sometimes it's just around the corner and it's in a few hours, and sometimes it takes a few days. But what I'm saying is, don't give up. Don't give up. Um, count your blessings. I count mine. Admittedly, I have so many to count. And, everybody has more or less. And I've learned to see all that I have and to be, just grateful for it. Because self care involves being grateful for what's in front of you. And sometimes you have to open your mental eyes to see what's in front of you. And I do all of this for me for one most important reason. And that's because I'm a dog, cat, animal advocate. And I know that in order to be good for animals, as in to be there for animals, I have to be there for myself. I have to show up for myself, so that most importantly, in my dearest passion, that I can show up for animals. I'm currently so happy to be volunteering at a rescue. I want to expand what I do so much more. But I'm going to be honest again and real, that I love animals so dearly and so much. I'm so most passionate about them that it hurts me to the point where it overwhelms me to think about all of the animals out there that are being abused and struggling in some way and ways all over. I mean, all over the world. There's so many of them. How can I save all of them? Because I want to save all of them. I want to save every single one of them. Here's the thing, animals, in my view, are far more important than human beings. I mean that. I mean that. And it's not something that I will ever change my mind for. When you think about it, animals love unconditionally, but they also give unconditionally. Animals serve as canines, as service animals. They do so much. They carry so many burdens um, without payment, without compensation. All they really need is love, you know? And humans are not unconditional like that. To me, humanity is evil, and in all honesty, I hate humanity. And furthermore, those who abuse animals should pay for their crimes by being abused in the same, or preferably for me, in worse ways. With that, I'm just saying that, life involves self-care too. And so I'm really trying to implement for myself that self-care. And with that, I have notes to get my thoughts together. So part of my self-care, and for everybody it's different, sometimes it involves the same things but in different ways, sometimes it involves whole different ways. um, find your normal. For me, it's first of all acknowledging my crisis, and my crisis is not defined by anybody else's definition of crisis. For me, crisis is those moments where the anxiety gets so, so absolutely just overwhelming for me, and to where I can't even function to do one thing for more than half an hour. So I have to reset my head, around it, and um, conduct some kind of therapy for myself by talking myself down, and trying to bring myself out of that panic. So um, the anxiety, for somebody who hasn't felt it before, and for those who have, then they know, it becomes at times debilitating, and I'm not taking any medication. I don't believe in psychotropic medications. I believe in holistic treatments. So with that, in my self-care, I am now going back to my holistic diet. For me, diet, I mean, eating is a way of life. And this time, though, I'm doing it with a variation. So I'm doing a vegan alkaline diet, which is not easy, but for me and for those who practice it, it's actually so delicious. I love health food, because what I've been doing for the past few months, and I've gone back and forth, is my thing with sugar, which is, it's so hard for me. Sugar can be an addiction, and I see that, because for me, as bougie as I am, and I am, because I like good things, as in amazing quality. But the thing is that I've been eating any kind of chocolate, expensive chocolate, supermarket chocolate, like the lowest cost chocolate and candies. Every time I go to the store and I go out, which is daily, I tend to grab and buy just any type of chocolate. And in fact, it's gotten to where any kind of candy and refined sugar treats, I've just been grabbing them. And I will just like chomp them down, to where it's gotten to this point of insanity with my sugar intake. My sugar intake has been so high, and I see how it's affected my health. It affects my mood, and that's part of it. I think that once you have emotional and psychological issues, no matter where they've originated, your diet can exasperate those issues. And I know that it's done that for me, with all of my hand movements. And so here's my, everybody has a baseline, and not everybody's baseline is the same. My baseline is rock bottom, and specifically my rock bottom. So for me to stop something and look at it as to how it's affecting me and to start something new and good, I have to reach my rock bottom all the way. And that's the only way that I stop something bad. That's been true for me in eating, but also in relationships. I'm looking at this. I'm getting off the subject, but this camera angle, I don't like it exactly. It feels awkward. Anyway, so my rock bottom is that I've quit eating habits and people and relationships, and that includes uh, parental, my parents, because I've talked about it before and I will say it again. They were and are sociopaths. The same with my uncles on my mother's side and relatives, family all together. So I never really had family, and I always tell myself I'm nobody's child, unfortunately, and I wish it wasn't true, but it is. But it comes to a point where when you're an adult and you realize this, even if you're not like a legal adult age, when you realize this, it's up to you to stop allowing those types of people who get you to your rock bottom to be in your life, because they're toxic. Just like the foods that you can eat are, some foods that you eat can be toxic to your health, and that's the way it is with relationships. And I'm talking about family relationships, as I said, parental relationships, um, outside relationships, romantically, with friends, with co-workers, all of that. I've been through it all, and I've learned that there is no midway with those things, is that you have to completely banish them from your life. And some of them are receptive to that and they will leave, and some are not, because dysfunctional personality types, and in today's society, they're actually the majority. And if you're not one of them, then you are in the minority. You're living in their world, so you have to learn how to protect yourself, and you do what's best for yourself to do that. So I have to get to rock bottom to stop something. But I've also seen that in the end, it's always served me well. I see when I banished people from my life, and at the time, if you don't know any better, breakups, no matter what type of relationship, it feels like, oh my God, oh, I don't know why I'm saying God, habit. Um, oh wow, how can I get through it and all this and all that. When you think about it, I mean, who cares? Who cares about this person who's not good for you and is not good at all, period? Who is toxic? Why would you want that person in your life? Why would you want that person in your orbit? You know? And it's something to really think about. Like, what were they doing for you? Was it so beneficial that not having them in your life is going to take away a huge chunk of something that makes your life better? No, when you think back on it, because hindsight is always providing such good clarification. So, um, I would say think about those things. I I'm really big on self-care, and all of this revolves around self-care. It contributes to your self-care. So whatever's most important for your life, know that you have to be there for yourself so that you can be there for that. For me, it's animals, and it always will be. So I want to be there for them, so I have to be there, you know, for myself. And going back to eating habits. So as I was saying, I was consuming so much sugar, and when it comes to putting bad things in your body, and sugar is bad. Sugar causes inflammation. Um, it triggers other things to go wrong in your body. And if you have any, I'm blessed that I don't, but if you are a person who has any chronic conditions, sugar makes it worse because sugar causes inflammation and inflammation causes disease. And disease starts at two sources, with inflammation and with gut health. And sugar also affects your gut health. It produces and exasperates yeast, and you take it from there. So, uh, I have come up with a new supplement protocol as well, where and it's you have it's discipline. You know, you have if you are going to come up or go to somebody who can develop a supplement protocol for you, make sure that they're giving you holistic supplements that are sourced um, ethically, because when they're sourced ethically, they're more healthy, they're more pure, and they absorb into your body better. So what I do, I take only organic supplements, and in the morning for me, what I do is I make a tea with oregano oil and chlorophyll and a little bit of peppermint with hot alkaline water, and I drink that. And sometimes I also drink liquid collagen. There's some organic liquid collagen that's pomegranate flavored. Yeah, it has pomegranate in it, so it makes it easy to drink. And then I have these supplements, Biosil, that I take, along with vitamin C and a probiotic prebiotic blend. I take those when I get up in the morning because your body every morning is detoxing. So if you're getting up directly and eating any kind of food, even if you drink some water beforehand, you're hindering your body's detoxification process, and that's not good. So what I do is I go with the flow, and I help my body to conduct its detoxification process by doing my supplement protocol, and that's while I'm checking my emails, my phone calls, and everything else that I usually do in the morning. So I drink and drink. And then, yes, because I am hungry in the mornings, usually, then I will go about making some type of alkaline breakfast. I try not to eat too much at once, even though I want to sometimes. I want to eat so much at one time. And I've done that before. So I'm vigilant of that, and I keep in mind eating to live, not living to eat. But I also make my foods enjoyable. And whether you're on an alkaline diet, whether you're just vegan, vegetarian, or what have you, yeah, I don't agree with eating meat. So that's my stance. But whatever type of eating habits you have, you don't have to change everything all at once. You can make little changes, working and going towards that goal of making those big changes, because they make huge changes in your overall um, mental, emotional, psychological, and physical health. So that's what I do. And I also practice something else, which ironically came from my father. Um, I now realize that I never really loved him, although I was always very attached to him, just as I was attached to my mother, who they were both narcissistic sociopaths. My father was a controlling one, my mother is an underhanded one. And they were always very, very cruel to me. They always deprived me, even though they didn't have to. It wasn't for a greater good. They just deprived me because it made them feel better. And of course, they never deprived themselves. It was just something they did to me. But that's only a pinch of the much bigger story. So I realized that my attachment to each of them was trauma bonding. Um, but anyways, my father, despite who and what he was, he sometimes had some very wise and helpful words. And one of them was live in the moment. And he always practiced this. Um, but live in the moment, I've learned um, to practice it for myself as a form of self care, um, because he once told me a story about how when he was a little boy, he and his family were at a funeral for somebody very close to the family. So during the services after the funeral, they were at the cemetery and they were outside, and my father saw his father, my grandfather, who by the way was a very good man, nothing like my father. He was sitting on a stone bench a little ways off in the sun. And my father walked over to him and sat next to him and asked him, but I would think that you would be very sad. And, so why are you sitting here in the sun by yourself? And he said, well, you know what? It can be whatever occasion it is, but sometimes when you see that one little bright spot, give it to yourself. Don't deprive yourself of it. Just enjoy it. And right now, there's that one bright spot. It's the sun physically just beating down on my head while I'm sitting on this bench, and it feels just so nice and warm and calm. So that's why I'm sitting here. And that always made sense to me, that even in your realest moments, when you're really going through it, if there's one little spot of something good, just take a few minutes to enjoy that little spot of something good for yourself. Take that in, absorb it, feel it, enjoy it. And that's what I do. And I admit sometimes when I'm going through it, it's hard to just take even a few seconds, let alone a few minutes. But it's something that I realize that I really need to do for myself. I'm more vigilant of letting myself get stressed out, and I try not to. Although I have days when I get so angry and I'm so moody, and that's another part of it. It's okay. Just try to do better in the next moment, you know? Go with the wave, but know that you can do better for yourself. With that, also something really good that's come out of everything that I've been through in my past and my histories, that I no longer tolerate anybody that I don't have to. I used to, but now I don't do that anymore. I just don't, and I don't even care. I just don't let those people into my life, and the ones that are, I just cut them out. Let them go their own way. I don't need them. You know, um, to be very real, if you're not feeding me, fucking me, or paying my rent, you can take off and stay out. You know, that's how I do it now. And and then the good people in my life, I realize that that's just another blessing, a spiritual blessing. To me, things are spiritual. Not God. And I and very, very briefly about that. In 2019, when my beautiful, perfect, dearest Puba, my pit bull, passed away, and it still kills me. Um, at the moment that happened, I realized for once and for all, and not even in an angry way, but just in a very real way, that God doesn't exist. Life is spirituality. And with that, I've always asked myself, well, when we learn our lessons, why do we have to learn them in such a hurtful way that harms us and hurts us? Um, and some things are not okay. They're still not okay. But with with other lessons, when it those lessons have come to me at the highest price for me, I think back on something in one of my favorite movies, The Wizard of Oz, and the closing scene. when someone asked Glenda, the good witch, about Dorothy, well, if it was in her all along, why didn't you just tell her in the beginning? And I'm paraphrasing this, and Glenda told that one, well, if I had told her from the very start, she wouldn't have learned. Things that come way too easy and maybe that are just told to you, they won't catch on. Sometimes it takes that deepest hurt for you to learn something and for it to stay with you. So that's a good takeaway from this as well. And with that, in closing, um, just for today, what's my just for today? Well, my just for today is I will acknowledge that I have moments where everything is really real. I will acknowledge that, yes, um, I'm a real person, and in my case, I have a real anxiety, a real disorder, but it gets better. And I always, when I get to that rock bottom, I shoot right back up. It's like when you're in the sea and you're at the bottom, just at that moment when you can't breathe anymore, you shoot back up. It's like that, you know. And I will also go shopping today. But I'm going to buy some good things from some really good places, because you can't fake quality, you know. That goes for food, for material things, also for people. So just remember, when you're at the store and you're picking through those bananas, make sure that you pick the good ones only. And that happens by looking through the bunches. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I would love to hear your stories and things that have, you know, really caught on and stayed with you at the time. If you'd love to share it with me, I'd love to know about it. Also, I would love your comments, suggestions, questions, anything positive. If you haven't subscribed, well, please subscribe, like, share, because this could help others, and hit your notifications, and I will see you back here soon. Bye.